Welcome to today's lesson. We are going to look at the topic called Earth geometry, and under the Earth geometry we'll look at the subtopic which is position of points and the difference in latitudes and in longitudes. So what are some of the things that we have to know before we look at this example which is here? We have to know that when we talk about Earth geometry, you have to know how to find the position of points on the Earth's model, and you also have to find the difference between the longitudes and the latitudes. So let's look at this diagram which is here. We also have to know which ones are longitudes and which ones are latitudes. So longitudes, these are lines that are running from here, going down here. From north, they are coming to south. They're from south going to north. Then the latitudes are these lines that are running from west to east. And also these lines, there is what we are calling the great circle and the small circle. So latitudes are considered to be small circle and the longitudes are considered to be the great circle. Then this line which cuts the Earth into two equal parts, which passes through 0, it is called the line of equator or the equator. Then if it is in the longitudes, it is the Greenwich region. That's what it is called. So now, what do we consider when we are putting the points, or we are actually finding the position of points? The first thing that you have to know is that you have to start with the latitude. Then after you identify latitude, what follows now, it is to identify the longitude. So the question here, they are saying write down the position of points from A to D. So they want us to find the position of these points from A, B, C, and D there. So how are we going to write down the position of these points? Let's start with the position A. So we are saying we should start with the latitude. So when you look at these points, it is lying in which latitude? It is lying in latitude 80 degrees north. So you are going to write 80 degrees north, then comma. You now look at the longitude in which this position A is. So the longitude here, this is 64 degrees west. So you write 64 degrees west. So that is the position of A. Let's go on position B. So when you look at position B, position B is lying in which latitude? We always start with latitude. It is lying in 80 degrees north. So you write 80 degrees north, comma. It is in which longitude? So it is in this longitude. So if you look at this longitude, what is its degree there? It is 43 degrees east. 43 degrees east. That is the position of B. Let's now look at position C. Position C is right here. Always you start with the latitude. So the latitude here, our latitude is what? 0 degrees, comma. What is our longitude? The longitude here, it is 64 degrees what? West. Then lastly, position D. When you look at position D, this is position D. It is lying in which latitude? 60 degrees south. We are now in south. 60 degrees south, comma. Which one is our longitude? It is in this longitude, which is 64 degrees west. So this is how you name the position of points. So the first thing, you identify that point to say this is the point. You look at the latitude. Is it lying in which latitude? So your latitude is 80 degrees north. Afterwards, you look at the longitude in which your point is. You find that this is the longitude and it is 64 degrees west. This is all about naming the position of points. Before I wrap the same question, let me also talk about the difference in latitudes and longitudes. So what do we consider when we are looking at the latitudes and the longitudes? So these are the simple points that I'm going to give you. The simple points that I'm going to give you is that if you look at this model here, it is divided. The upper part, it is the north. The lower down, it is the south. Then when you also look at the part of the longitudes, the other side it is east, the other side it is west. So the simple analysis that you should know is that when we are dealing with the position that are in the same hemisphere, it is in north-north or it is in south-south, then you have to do what? You have to subtract the latitudes. North-north is the latitude, south-south they are also latitudes, and they are all in north-north or they are both in south-south. What do? You subtract the latitudes. Then when they are in different points, one point is in north, the other point is in south, or the other point is in south, the other one is in north, what do? You add the latitudes. That is about the latitudes. When we come to the longitudes, it's the same thing. When both longitudes are in the same side, east, or they are in west, what do? You subtract. In the same way, they are in different positions. The other one is in east, the other one is in west, or the other one is in west and the other one is in east. What do? You add the longitudes. So using the same example here, let's find the difference in latitudes and the longitudes between the following points. So let's look at the first one. Find the difference in latitudes and longitudes between the point A and B. So when you look at the point A and B, finding the difference here, we are going to find the difference in longitudes because they are sharing the same the same latitude. So there's no way we can find the difference in latitudes. But you'll be able to find the difference in in longitudes because they are sharing different longitudes. So what are you supposed to do? You have to name your points. So point A has got 80 degrees north, 64 degrees west. Then point B has what? When you look at point B, has got 80 degrees north, 43 degrees east. So when you look at these, they are sharing the same latitude. So what do you find there? You have to find the difference in longitudes. So when you look at the difference in longitudes, this longitude is west and this longitude is in east. So as we said earlier on to say, if they are in different points, the other one is in west, the other one is in east, what do? We add. So this simply means we are going to add 64 plus 43. And this is going to give us what? 107 degrees as our answer. So when they're in different poles, the other one is in west, the other one is in east, you add. Let's look at another example where they will say find the difference in latitudes between point B and the point F. Between point B and F. So look at B. B is lying on 80 degrees north, 43 degrees east. Then the other point here, which is point F, is lying in 60 degrees south, 43 degrees east. So when you look at this, they are sharing the same longitude, which is 43 degrees east, 43 degrees east. So what are you supposed to find? You are supposed to find the difference in the latitudes. So when you look at these two, this is 80 degrees north, this is 60 degrees south. So this is in south, this is in north, you add them together. So you are going to have what? 80 plus 60, which will give you what? 140 degrees as your difference in latitudes. Lastly, let's find the difference in longitudes between point E and the point F. So we look at point E is here and point F is here. So as usual, they are all lying in the same latitude, which is latitude 60 degrees east. But these, they are sharing different longitudes. The other one is carrying 43 degrees east, the other one is carrying 25 degrees east. Both of them, they are in east, and we said if both of them, they are either in east, or they are either in west, or they are either in north-north, or they are either in south, what do? You subtract. So in this case, we are going to subtract our longitudes, which we are going to have 43 minus 25. So when you subtract these two, 43 minus 25, we are going to have 18 as our answer, 18 degrees. So that is all about the position of points and the difference in latitudes and the longitudes. Thank you so much for watching. Please watch out the next video where I'm going to talk about the distance in longitudes, in latitudes, calculated in either kilometers or nautical miles. Thank you so much for watching.